David, I want to welcome you to the World Massage Conference.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and I want to thank all our listeners and everyone who's logged in tonight.
It's great to
have you here. And our sponsors. I really appreciate our sponsors as well, because they help make all this happen for us.
Absolutely. So I'm going to hand the mic over to you, David, so to speak, and I'm going to just let you go with your presentation. And
fantastic.
Not only we'll have some questions from our listeners, I'm sure.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so this presentation is headaches, types, or really triggers and treatments, but I'm just going to mention a few things about types as we get into it. And our next slide, where we're looking at the first aid kit here. Now, you know, a lot of people present in our clinics, in our spas. They call us to our house, to their houses if we're doing out calls, or they sit in our, maybe you're doing seated chair massage somewhere, and they've got terrible headaches or headaches that they're talking to you about. And I have found that massage can have an amazing impact on their headaches. The challenge is people typically show up for that first aid. You know, the headache's been bothering them maybe for weeks, and now they're debilitated that day, and that's when they finally decided to come in. And at that point, it's very important that you give them the first aid, but at the same time, I think it's very important that we give them some quality education as to how this came about and how to prevent it in the future, especially if it's happening on a regular basis. We're going to move to the next slides, because when people come in with neck pain or headaches, typically you're going to find that both of them are connected. And if the people are paying close enough attention to their body, very often they'll tell you that they notice their neck starts to hurt and then their head. Sometimes it's the other way around. But when there are muscular components, especially to their headaches, and we'll talk about some of the different types, but when there's a muscular and structural component to their headaches, that's what I want to talk about mainly tonight, is what has caused their pain. Why is this chronic? What has taken place in their body up to this point that is causing them at this time in their life to show up in your treatment room with headaches bad enough that they're discussing it with you? And that takes us to the next slide about belief systems, because when they enter our, you know, again, whether you're entering their environment or they're entering yours, they come with certain belief systems about their headaches, and it's important that we recognize it. It's not so much that we're going to change their belief systems, but they only believe what they believe so far based on the education that they've been given, and many people, you know, almost believe that they have headaches because they don't take enough medications. You know, they need more pills. It's a reality. And I know I was caught up in that whole loop for many years in my life with different headaches. Sometimes it is genetic. Sometimes the whole family eats poor trigger foods, if that makes sense to you. Sometimes the whole family has certain habits that could be causing, or certain beliefs about their headaches that could be perpetuating them. And an interesting thing about beliefs, I want to go to the next slide, and that one shows, let me just zoom in on mine here a little bit. So on that slide, what we're actually seeing on the left-hand side is showing, here, mine's coming up, I think it is. Yeah, it's showing on the left-hand side the estimated percentage of patients with relief. From 0 to 100% relief, and along the bottom it's talking about the length of time that someone took to get relief. So for example, 0 to 25 minutes. Now the dots are showing us the people that took the actual medication, and it looks like it's somewhere around 90% at least of that the medication was effective. Now the square boxes that you're looking at, in 25 minutes, a lot of people got almost 80% relief, giving themselves the same medication. That's a medication today we all know as Imitrex. I actually got that slide out of one of those little pieces of paper that fold out of a prescription. I think we all have received a box of some type. And that's what was on the piece of paper at that time. So I had scanned it because I thought that was interesting to see the placebo effect could be so strong. I don't think that that's very often what they're going in and telling people. Sometimes people don't realize how strong that placebo effect can be.